Okay, 1.4. The phenomenal world is an illusionary world of consciousness. This one is very important. This one I have to start out by defining to you what is a phenomenon. So you listen. What is a phenomenon? Definition of phenomenon. Anything that is perceivable by the mind is a phenomenon. So this definition is very powerful. Whatever you perceive is a phenomenon. You can say it's a mental phenomenon. But whatever you perceive through the mental, like your physical body's movement, is a physical phenomenon. Understand? Then whatever nature's phenomenon is the same. Nature's movement, your mind perceives it, it becomes a mental phenomenon. So basically, phenomena you can classify into three: physical, mental, and nature's phenomena. Whatever that the mind can perceive, these are the three that complete all of phenomena. Then how do you know the world? Via our consciousness and mental perception, isn't it? And since consciousness and mental perception are just mental images in our mind that arises and pass away continuously, hence the reason why it is said the phenomenal world is actually a illusionary world of consciousness, empty, no reality. Now you understand? Yeah. Because all of mental phenomena, you have to perceive it through the mind. And the mind is a mental image. So this mental phenomenon actually relates to all other phenomena. Through the mind, you perceive physical phenomena, mental phenomena, and nature's phenomena. Then since consciousness and mental perception are just mental images, so always understand this. When you are aware inside, how the senses together with the sense data trigger the respective mind or consciousness. See it clearly. Understand what consciousness is. Then how the perception aggregate sanya came in to perceive, to bring the external form into the mind. Then you look. It's just mental images. No reality. Nothing tangible, nothing solid. That's why the phenomenal world of consciousness is an illusionary world of consciousness, no reality. Then the Mahayana also have a very famous saying, perception of form is consciousness, whereas its non-perception is wisdom. By now, you should understand this very clearly. If you cannot understand this, you cannot develop the wisdom. Because for those who have already developed the understanding and the awakening, they will know this very clearly. Why? Because in the direct seeing, you see things as they are without words, isn't it? Correct or not? Before you perceive it. The moment you perceive it becomes what? Mental perception, which is the content of consciousness. Then if you don't perceive anything, means you have the direct seeing, and that is wisdom. So it's as simple as that. This is the most profound quote, quoted by the Surangama Sutta. And the enlightened one will understand it. Now you understand why Mahayana always say that the phenomenal world is a world of consciousness. This is also the reason why Surangama Sutta say consciousness created the world and the continent. I read again. Consciousness created the world and the continent, the stars and the universe, and the knower becomes the living being. Through thought and form, delusion, the knower deludedly cling onto the five aggregate of form and mind, or living being, thinking that is real. And this is what they are. Hence, the deluded living being, cling onto the false, becomes the traveler in space and time, wandering through samsara, and undergo birth and death for eternity. So this is a very beautiful description of creation. It comes from the Surangama Sutta. For those who have understood the Surangama Sutta, they will understand this. Then note, true mind does not stir through suchness or ruzu putong. Only mundane mind stir via delusion. Mundane mind without wisdom is the discriminating thinking mind. Understand this clearly before you start your meditation. And then you will know what you are doing during meditation. Then you can distinctly differentiate between what is the true mind, what is the mundane mind, what is the thinking mind. The true mind is the one that you have to stay at. You have to realize that is the one that can meditate, awaken. Whereas the mundane mind is the thinking mind, the one that create all the illusion to trap you. So distinctly distinguish them in the midst of meditation. When you relax, aware, and silent your mind, realize the true mind, stabilize it. Then when you understand the true mind, you will understand the mundane mind. Where all creation start from there. Then when you understand the mundane mind, you will understand the Buddha's teaching. Why Dhammapada verse 1 and 2 is it mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. He's referring to the mundane mind. Then under the 5 daily contemplation, the last one, law of karma. We are all born of karma, heir to karma. Here he's referring also to your former mind. So all this is very beautiful when you understand. So you have to really develop the understanding. Then note number 2, definition of hallucinatory. Thinking that it is real, but it's actually not real. That's why it's hallucinatory. Hallucinate. Then J. Krishnamurti said, this quote is very important, really quote. J. Krishnamurti said, the observer is the observer. This is seeing things as they are. They are the direct seeing without words. In a similar way, the Buddha also taught us the same. In the seeing is only the seeing consciousness, and there is no one to see. Hence, no delusion. Otherwise, the moment you associate and cling onto what you see or what you observe, delusion or sakkayaditthi has already set in. Because you associate with what you see, then the personality, the ego, I see, came out. Means the observer is there. The observer is observing or seeing. Yeah. So it's just like the previous Tuesday class, the session, when this Joyce asked that question on the awareness of your own character and all those things. Even just now that chef, Gordon Ramsay, yes. He is what he is because of what? His character, his whatever personality that he developed is the result of his views, opinion, and conditioning. Where he is brought up this way and his karmic past is that type of nature. Then when he comes, he has a lot of interest, passion in the cooking. That's why he's a very good chef, a very famous chef too. But his style, his way is like that. That's why the conditioning and all those things. So meditation is to see all this without the observer. Understand now? You don't go and like all those who don't understand meditation, you know what they do or not? They are using the thought, which is egoic, to find out through knowledge. They say, I still have anger. The I, the ego is very strong. I can see, like Joy say, the true character. Understand? He used the word the true nature, but remove the word nature. Your true inner character means the one habitual tendency, all ingrained, the conditioning, I will say. But if you have a atta observing, then there is not sati, there is not mindfulness. That's why when you really observe, is the awareness, the nature that observe. There is no observer behind. There is no personality behind. The observer and the observed is one. Like the Buddha said, in the seeing, only the consciousness, like the physics experiment. The light bulb light up means you become conscious, but there is nobody inside there. It's just the awareness, aware, the pure see. That's why in the seeing, there's only the seeing consciousness. Only that consciousness come out, like the light bulb light up. There is no one to see. That is the real meditation. That is the real direct seeing. You see without a atta. You see without a personality, without the egoic mind. That's why there is the pure seeing, without words, without concept. So that is observation, the art of see, the art of listen, the art of observation. So if you always go and link, this is how I become what, how I become what, then you are not observing. You are using thought. You are using knowledge. Your mind is not silent. You are not aware. When you are aware, there is nobody inside there. But it will understand the movement. It will understand all these things after it come out. Because that silence is aware. That nature can awaken. And when it start to see all this movement, then it start to understand the deep meaning of what the Buddha meant by dependent originating, conditional. Without what he see, all these things happening, dwelling. Without what he see. Then after that, whatever word you use, he will understand. That's why the enlightened being is different. The Buddha says, the Dhamma is pacetang, can be realized by the wise, each for themselves. Okay? So, that is the uniqueness of the Dhamma, which is beyond thought, beyond mind. This Dhamma is pacetang. Nobody can share with you or let you understand. You have to realize it yourself. You have to awaken yourself. It's like food. You have to eat yourself. I cannot take the food for you. Your body will still need food. So when it comes to cultivation, like the Buddha said, he can only show you the way. You have to walk the path yourself to realize it. There is an understanding that needs awakening, realization, the direct seeing, the pure seeing, the awakening. It's not a knowledge. It's not a concept. You cannot use thought. You cannot use memory, brain as knowledge. Wisdom is understanding. The understanding is not rigid. The understanding is broad-based, the whole, the totality, not a fragment. As a fragmented view can never lead to understanding or wisdom or realization. That's why thought is limited by that space when you input the content of consciousness. Whereas the spacious awareness is the oneness. That one can see the totality, can see things as they are, can awaken. Okay? So this is the beautiful part.